What's up, guys? It's Monkelzonky, and welcome to the 2014-2015 Washington Wizards opening game against the new look Heat, the old look Heat. I'm not really sure how to call them, but LeBron is gone, and it's a different time in Miami, so they're looking to maybe have some success without him, maybe prove that they can still win without the man that is the legend that was there and helped them win 2 championships in 4 years. So getting right off into this game, my general strategy against the Washington Wizards is I wanted to push the pace, I wanted to go fast, I wanted to have lots of fast break scores, I wanted to take advantage of John Wall's and Bradley Beal's athleticism, and also Bradley Beal's three-point shooting is a major asset. Unfortunately, the Washington Wizards do have some really good post players in Nene and Marcin Gortat, but I'm not really the best post player, so I tried to utilize Nene a little bit and went to him early, got myself a bucket down low, just using some of his post moves. However, I did not have a great post game with either of these guys, so hopefully I will learn to get them involved in the offense a little bit more in the future. But starting off the game a little bit sloppy here. I was getting used to the new controls, and I throw it away from Beal to Wall on really a terrible pass that never should have been made. But Wall nearly bails me out there with the dunk. He missed that, but he hits a few of those later that are just insane athletically what he can do, and for some reason they just left Paul Pierce an open shot there. Paul Pierce may be 37 years old or 47 years old or whatever he is at this point, but he still knows how to shoot, and so does John Wall. John Wall is a much improved three-point shooter. His three-point rating in this game is still fairly low because he was, I believe, a 38% three-point shooter last year, which is pretty good by NBA standards, maybe a little bit above average, definitely not a sharpshooter by any means, as Chris Bosh rolls the rim on a very nice cut there and gets the dump off pass. And John Wall, this time he does not miss, slamming it down on a pick and roll. Those pick and rolls with John Wall are so deadly as Dwayne Wade coughs up the ball here, and we're looking for the first alley-oop. It didn't work out so well. Unfortunately, that was Beal throwing the oop and John Wall catching it. In most situations, it's probably better off if we do it the other way around with Beal catching the lobs. Beal coming off of a nice curl screen there and just popping in a deuce. That was wonderful to behold. His jumper is just so fluid, and Danny Granger coughs up the ball. The Heat also looking a bit sloppy in the early going as Martell Webster gets the slam in transition. Martell Webster left wide open in the corner, foot on the line, toenail on the line even, and manages to, hit the shot. Jordan Crawford coming off the bench is just a spark plug on offense. I love his game as he is a pretty adept three-point shooter. Can knock down some of those open looks as the nice give and go with Blair and Jordan Crawford here, as Jordan Crawford just rolls to the rim and flips it in for a nice shot there, as Luol Deng just having zero respect for Jordan Crawford's defense, pulling up in his grill on transition and splashing that shot as we end off the first quarter here, looking like we have a fairly tight game on our hands, a fairly high scoring one as Miami is up 33-30. This is going to be a very high scoring game. However, the second half, I think both defenses settled in and did a much better job. I might be looking to adjust the sliders a little bit though, because the shooting percentages were a little bit too high this game. So we'll see as Bradley Beal just pulls up in the lane for a disgusting looking 2 and manages to hit it anyway. We're coming down in transition. Bradley Beal, deadly in transition. Excellent release. Splashes home the tray. Or I guess that was a 2. Again, a toenail on the line. John Wall just rumbling to the rim is incredible on some of those pick and rolls, and just so deadly. But so is Dwayne Wade rolling to the rim. He has a few tricks in his sleeve as well, splashing home that one. And John Wall, I was really trying to push it into the paint with him and really trying to take advantage of the fact that Mario Chalmers just cannot guard him, as Chris Bosh just pulls up into Ne's face and splashes it. Chris Bosh was pretty off this game. I believe he only barely made it over the 10-point threshold. Dwayne Wade was really the Heat's main star. He completely went off this game. Chris Bosh didn't have his best performance, as Dwayne Wade, a much improved three-point shooter, just pulls up at the end of the shot clock there and splashes one home. Dwayne Wade has been shooting a lot more threes, and I loved this dump-off pass to Blair for the dunk there. I thought that was some great basketball as Blair gets the rebound, and that's the end of the first half. And Washington is down by 15 points at half as Vince Carter walks off the floor very disappointed, and I was also very disappointed in our first half performance. The field goal percentage by the Heat, 59% is ridiculous. That's going to need to change. Our defense was absolutely awful. How much of that is me not having played NBA 2K15 in a couple weeks, and how much of that is the fact that maybe our team needs to improve a bit on that end? I'm not sure. Start off the second half, Dwayne Wade splashing with 3. Again, he's shooting threes this season. I'm not really sure what's changed, but apparently he can make them. As the nice pass there by Wall, the bounce pass to get it right into the post for Nene. I loved that, but Miami really started to pull away as Paul Pierce here rolls towards the rim, and Miami got up to a 22-point lead. I believe that's the highest, as John Wall just puts Birdman to bed, dunks over him. Birdman tries to flop, and that is just beautiful. Not really much of a poster when the fact that Birdman just tried to fall out of the way to get out of the poster shot there. And McBob rolls to the rim, probably one of the widest dudes in the NBA, but he still is a pretty effective player if you think about it. And Bradley Beal, double team John Wall, that means someone is open. Bradley Beal is probably the last player on my team that you want to leave open, as Wade throws a terrible pass here and Beal dunks it in transition. Gets probably the unnecessary replay after that because it was just a very standard one-handed dunk there and nothing too special, but Martell Webster handling the ball for some reason, and Jordan Crawford, I love this guy. He is so effective offensively, just cuts to the rim. Shabazz Napier is a terrible defender because he's very, very short and can't really D up much of anyone, but he has a deadly backdoor cut, which he utilized several times during this game and really caught me off guard on that particular play. And Martell Webster, he is a sharpshooter with the excellent release, splashing it home for mid-range. So Martell and Vince Carter a little bit, as Vince Carter hits the nice long 2 there, probably about as long as the 2 as you can possibly get. But Jordan Crawford was my main offense off the bench, and Webster was spotting up left and right. He had a fairly good game as well, and we were down by 22 points. We are coming back. Vince Carter in transition laid it in. We're only down by 5 early in the 4th quarter at this point. John Wall passes over to Bradley Beal in the corner, who just bails me out with probably a terrible shot there that was very, very well contested, but he still manages to hit it, and Luol Deng cuts to the rim. No one was guarding him. He probably would have been a better shot for the corner 3. And John Wall, this kid is just ridiculous sometimes, just cocks it back, and oh my goodness, he is incredibly athletic and is really, really fun to play with him as well. And the Heat, Dwayne Wade in this 4th quarter just took over, and Bradley Beal could not D him up. Bradley Beal is a decent defender, but he can't guard Dwayne Wade in full superstar form, but Wade couldn't really guard Beal either because Beal had quite a bit. And here in the 4th quarter, with only 5 minutes left in the game, it's starting to be a really close game coming down the wire. I actually decided to sub in Jordan Crawford because John Wall was really, really struggling. Even though he had several nice dunks, he missed a lot of shots, and you'll see at the end of the game when we get into the stats, his shooting percentage was quite poor. So I really desperately needed some offense, some guaranteed offense at the end of the game. Jordan Crawford been hot all game, as well as Bradley Beal hitting the 2, keeping me in this game. I was down by 22. I do not want to have to go back to that place again. I want to make sure the end is here, and Jordan Crawford immediately paying off with that decision to put him in the game over Wall, splashing the 3. And I got my first lead in probably since the 1st quarter. Bradley Beal on the nice cut to the basket there and dunks it. And Dwayne Wade is saying, you know, he is the main offense here in the 4th quarter. The Heat just went to him pretty much every time with some very, very good results. He rarely missed in the 4th quarter because that's Dwayne Wade. And again, just Pierce was sagging. Pierce was being sagged off. Luol Deng just decided not to guard him. And Bradley Beal in transition, that disgusting pull-up in the lane again. I was admittedly trying to go for a lay in there, and Dwayne Wade just spinning in the lane and putting in the mid-range shot there. Dwayne Wade is a closer, so he does have that working on his side. Dwayne Wade again fading from the post. Bradley Beal just can't contest that. Too much fade on that, but Bradley Beal comes back on the very end and redeems himself, keeping us in the game, keeping our hopes of winning this alive with their clutch 3-pointer with just a few seconds left. So Dwayne Wade gets the ball in the inbounds here. The Heat are up by 2. He needs to make both free throws, and the game is pretty much put away. He makes the first, and Dwayne Wade, what are you doing? He misses the second free throw, giving us a shot to be in this game. Vince Carter with the rebound. We are giving it to my man Jordan Crawford, who has been just so hot all game, and Jordan Crawford pulls up, and he hits it. It's a 3. The game is tied with 6 seconds left, and of course the ball is going to Dwayne Wade, just fighting his way into the lane. I completely sagged off McBob or Justin Hamilton or whoever that is, and Dwayne Wade, hits the game-winning shot. So unfortunately there was a game-winning shot this game. It just wasn't by my team. But Dwayne Wade, a very, very well-fought game. 41 points on 17 for 27 field goals. He was the player of the game, although no assists and no blocks and no steals. So he was pretty much just out there to score. Chris Bosh had a decent game, and most of the Heat role players, again, most of the offense was flowing through Dwayne Wade. It's kind of interesting. Sean Williams didn't even play for them. He's starting in real life. As far as my team goes, as I said, Wall scored quite a bit, but he really did struggle efficiency-wise. My main offense was coming through Beal, as well as Martell Webster and Jamal Crawford off of the bench. John Wall only 9 for 23, not the best, although he did have 22 assists, and Beal led my team in scoring with 32, and Jordan Crawford had 17 coming off the bench. So looking at the team comparison here, the field goal percentage is something that needs to change. I'll probably be adjusting the sliders. 55% for them and 52% for us. That's a little bit too high. That's going to lead to some unrealistic scores played on 12-minute quarters, and I'm a big fan of realism, so that's probably going to have to change. The rest of it looks pretty good, other than the fact that the turnovers are way, way too low. Hopefully I can get a chance to change that, as well as the fouls were too low as well. That should probably be in the 20s for both teams. Anyway, that's about all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. A very disappointing loss on the very first game of the season, but Dwayne Wade was just too good, so what can you say? Hopefully I'll come out with the next game pretty soon, and farewell.